So hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. It is time to talk about episode 5 of The Ones Who Live. I knew while watching it that it was special. Do you know when you're watching something and you can feel your brain forming connections and putting the dots together? My brain doesn't often do that, but it was doing it. Also, yeah, I know, it's a t-shirt. So before we get started, as always, all the links to where you can find me is in the description down below. Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, where the exclusive extended versions of reactions go up. All in the description. Let's go and let's talk about this episode because wow. Now, we've talked about cameos before and familiar faces maybe popping up in the spin-offs, in The Ones Who Live, in Daryl Dixon, in Dead City. I didn't think we'd get anything like that outside of the final episode. I thought, okay, if we're going to get something like that, they're probably going to keep it for the last episode. They're going to keep it under wraps and far away. Maybe the last few minutes of the final episode. And then they just opened this episode with Father Gabriel staring up at the sky, going Rambo out in the forest, killing walkers. It makes sense for this episode because this was very much Jadis kind of took the lead plot point wise or storyline wise this episode, which did make sense. It made sense for her last episode, for her final episode, to bring him back in because we know him and Jadis had a thing going on. And then Are You an A or Are You a B went down and he didn't get to go with her to the great beyond of the CRM. I will say, I'm a bit confused. A lot of people were saying that he was cheating on Rosita or him and Rosita were together at the time. I could be wrong because I so often am. But I'm pretty sure him and Rosita had either broken up at that point or she had passed at that point. Because these flashbacks took place, 3 years previously? Which would be still in the future of The Walking Dead, wouldn't it? Because The Ones Who Live takes place, what is it, like? Every time we start discussing this show, people start beeping and hooting and turning on their alarms in their cars outside my window. Shut the fuck up and let me fangirl in peace. But yeah, I'm pretty sure either she had passed or they weren't together anymore in terms of timeline. I've seen people like making memes and making jokes, calling him a cheater and all this. I don't think they were together at this point. I could be way wrong, and they might very well be. But those little stolen moments were interesting because you have him telling her, kind of along the lines of what she needs to hear. Because you've Jada spiraling, and you've him saying like, you can talk to me, you can tell me, confession and all that. And then you've Jada's telling him like, well, what if I can't forgive myself, or what if people don't forgive me, the ones who can't forgive me? And she's just been a fascinating character to watch all along. And having her stand there in front of him and not tell him about Rick was just shitty. It was just shitty. I mean, I guess from her point of view, it was her way of like testing the waters to see what they know, what's the deal. And they've presumed Rick dead for a while now, so she just kind of ran with that story. She just didn't correct him. Very shitty. But it's in line with her character. I mean, she's someone who has always looked out for her best interest. And I think she really changed once the junkyard people all got put into that big old meat grinder. Side note as well, from Jadis, it's surprising the amount of people who haven't watched The Walking Dead watch The Ones Who Live, tuned in because they've seen Rick and Michonne's chemistry, they've seen the gifs, they've seen the memes online, so they're tuning in for that. And there's so much of the show that they don't get that's going over their head. They're like, who the fuck is this? Yeah, but like as a very invested Walking Dead viewer, we know who Jadis is, where she's been, what she's been through, Jadis and the many different faces of her as a character. I think it was a really nice way for a send-off for a character that has been in the universe for so long. Like, she came into the Walking Dead universe, season 7? Season 6, season 7, somewhere around that point. And then, she jumped over to the world beyond. She was quite a pivotal part in that storyline. And then you have her in this as well. And like I've said many times before, Jadis did lead to Rick ending up where he did, which then resulted in Michonne having to come find him, which resulted in the spin-off. As a character, I hate Jadis. She's a great anti-hero. She's very villainous, but I think she's more anti-hero territory rather than villain. But what Michonne said in this episode was absolutely true. You stole Rick from Michonne, from the kids, from the years of his life. Do you know what I mean? So I do agree with what Michonne said during that bedroom scene, which also was hilarious. That is the second time they've been caught with their pants down. First time was by Jesus, second time was by Jadis. Oh my god, the Jays are just out to absolutely catch them naked. There was a lot of throwbacks like that this episode, actually. A lot of the scenes gone out to the forest. Some of the dialogues, a lot of what we saw was very reminiscent of early Walking Dead days, which I did really, really enjoy. I liked the moral dilemma of what was it, save the park from the people and the people from the people. I thought that was interesting as well. But going back to Jadis, she's somebody who I have really enjoyed watching, and I feel like we're losing a little bit of Walking Dead history with her, because she has been with us so long, she has been a part of the story for so long, that it's just strange saying goodbye to her. And I think Pollyanna did an incredible job portraying her all along. Again, like I said, the many different faces of her and the different sides to her that we saw throughout her time on the shows in the universe. Yeah, impeccable job. And I'm just sad to lose like an original, like a not an original, because she came in season 7-ish, but like, you know what I mean, such a long standing cast member from the lineup. Shouldn't have said that, Jesus, the word lineup just gives me chills. But she did a fantastic job, dedicated years of her life to that universe. But I did enjoy it. I did like how it was done. I liked how it was portrayed. And I said it in the reaction. I was like, you get taken out by a walker. I know Michonne like had a part to play in that too. But like at the end of the day, it was the big hole in her. It was a big hole in her neck, which I'm pretty sure was a walker bite that like led to her fucking, basically. But I guess it keeps it in line with what we keep forgetting about this universe. The Walking Dead was always built on the notion that like people are the danger, and that the walkers are there, the zombies are there, but the people are like the issue. People suck balls. So to bring it back to the fact that but there is still walkers, there is still zombies, and they can still rock your shit. You know what I mean? Michonne did have a big part to play in that, obviously, in Jadis' downfall. What I find interesting as well, I did enjoy that, by the way, let me just say, the whole Jadis' final moments thing, her opening up and telling them where the files were hidden, and Michonne telling her we're going to take on CRM, and Rick being like, we're what, sweetie? I did enjoy that, and I think the next episode is going to be so high action, high intense. I can't wait. God damn, I forgot the point I was going to make. Oh yeah, it was about Michonne. That I got a comment, it was like, oh, Michonne has had like a lot of wrong takes, or it's strange to see her be so wrong throughout the season. And I'm like, I truly don't, I don't know what it is about Michonne that makes me want to just like go feral and start like yelling at people. I'm not gonna, because everyone's entitled to their own opinion. You're entitled to your own character likes and dislikes and things that you like about shows and characters. But I don't understand how you could look at a character like Michonne and be like, she's wrong. All she's doing is trying to get her husband back to her and her children, to her family, to their community where they have a life, they've built a life. How can you think that's wrong? I understand where Rick is coming from too, and that's what I've been saying in the last few reactions and reviews, that like they both have their valid reasonings, they both have their valid points that they're making. I don't feel like either of them are wrong. It's just a shitty situation where both of them are right. She wants Rick to come home to her kids, to the family, to try and regain some of that lost time that you can't get back. You know what I mean? And she said that now a few times. But on the flip side, you've Rick saying, yeah, but like I can't, because Jadis has all the dirt on us. She has these files that she's going to tell everybody, and everything's going to be fucked. And I think I could make a difference to CRM. I mean, he did tell that story about his father. Do you remember back when he was in the helicopter with Rogue 4? He did tell that story about his father destroying the farm in order to like save them in the long run. And that is definitely going to come into place, whether it's in the next episode or it ends up being in a season 2. Because I can see a season 2 happening. I don't think they ever specified how many episodes we were getting, or if it was just like a 1-season event. Like, you know the way with World Beyond, they announced it was going to be 2 seasons and that's it. I don't think they did that with The Ones Who Live. And with all the positive press and reception they've been getting from this season, I could see them, if they had been like playing with the idea, if they'd been caressing the idea of season 2, I reckon once they got to episode 2 or 3 having aired, it probably would have solidified it in their minds that, yeah, we should totally go with season 2. We should do it. We should go with it because, you know, Dead City and Daryl Dixon both got second seasons. Why would you not give that to The Ones Who Live? You know? Not that it's needed. They could very well wrap up the storyline in a very cohesive and tidy end next episode, depending on how long the episode is and what comes into play. But I think it would be a missed opportunity to not give us a season 2. If this chair squeaks one more time, it's very possible I might throw it out the window at the cars that are also beeping outside. Noises are getting on my nerves today. I did like everything about this episode. I feel like the pacing was great. The writing was great. Like I said, it did have an old school Walking Dead feel to it. You had a lot of moments between Rick and Michonne. That group that we met out in the forest, they kind of remind me of, do you remember the insulin girl that I think Daryl came across? they kind of reminded me of that whole situation. Again, you're going back to the roots of being out in the forest, being out with the leaves, with nature. Very old school Walking Dead. And then Rick and Michonne, their little fucking side quest out the whole episode with Jadis. And listen, I kind of feel bad because like they were so happy when they found them noodles, and then they were like, we're going to give the noodles to the strangers, and the strangers acted out, they did not behave themselves, so Michonne had to remove the noodles from their possession. But then it was the fucking noodle packets that ended up leading Jadis to them. Talk about a cursed item. But like I said, I think Pollyanna killed it this episode. It must be sad for her to say goodbye to such a character that has lived within her for so long too. Whether you liked or disliked Jadis, I don't think anyone actually liked Jadis. She's not the kind of character that you're supposed to like, that you're supposed to root for. She is supposed to be the anti-hero, borderline villain, like, oh my god, this bitch again. Oh! But she progresses the story. She has a part to play, and her part is relevant, you know what I'm saying? I think she did a fantastic job with the character, and it's going to be weird without her. It's going to be weird without seeing that haircut pop up every now and again. But the end scene, let's talk about the Father Gabriel scene with Jadis, where Gabe kind of half proposes to Jadis and then like backs out of it because she starts talking about something else, gives her the ring, and then she gives the ring to Rick, and then we have the proposal. This has been a topic of debate within the fandom for a while. I don't know why I wasn't a part of this debate. I always just assumed they were married. I just assumed it happened at some stage and we didn't see it, or maybe I just blacked that out of my memory. And maybe I never even contemplated it. In my head, they were just married. So having Rick propose to her and how it happened again in the forest, back to their roots, back to early day Walking Dead. We got confirmation that he was in love with Michonne long before we all registered it and before the kiss, right? Before the toothpaste situation, which was another throwback that was just delightful. We got the moment in this episode where he gives her the toothpaste and they reference back to that. You know what I'm talking about. Just sometimes I feel I need to clarify myself because I want to beat other people to it. But the scene with them out in the forest, he gets down on one knee and what he says to her, oh my God. It was so simple, it was so delicate and intimate and to the point. And then having her get down to his level where they are equals, because in the relationship they really are. Both of them are equals, and that's what makes them so beautiful, and that's what makes their story so romantic. Neither one of them is better than the other, has the upper hand on the other one. They are so beautifully balanced and they view each other in that way, and I feel like this season has allowed them to come to that realization as well. That respect has always been there with them, otherwise they never would have worked as a couple. I'm not saying this is a new thing, because it ain't. But I'm talking about like after all of their confusion and their stress and their struggles throughout the season, trying to find their footing together again. Her coming down to his level and her opening. It's just, there's been so much vulnerability between them. It is beautiful. I'm falling in love with both of them. And listen, I have always loved both of them. I've always been on the Rick and the Michonne train. But choo choo, this season I'm the conductor of like Crazyville. I'm the ringleader of my own circus, and in my head there ain't nothing but Michonne scenes. Michonne scenes, was that a Freudian slip? Maybe there is nothing but Michonne scenes playing in my head. Michonne, to be more specifically, Rick and Michonne. But I feel like I've fallen in love with both of them a lot this season. They've been handled in a way that we haven't really seen before, and I've loved it. I've loved it. And again, criticism is welcome, and I always say that on my channel. I welcome criticism. I welcome different people's point of views, that if it worked for you or if it didn't work for you, what have you, let me know. No one opinion is right or wrong. It just kind of annoys me when people can't understand the difference between I did not enjoy it, but I can understand what they were going for. Do you know what I'm saying? That level of respect, I hate it when that's not there, and people are like, this was shit, this was blah blah blah. It's like, no, that's just your opinion. You just didn't enjoy this one as much as the other ones, and there's probably a plethora of reasons as to why. But yeah, I've been loving my time with this show. I know there's probably things I'm forgetting that I didn't include, that I left out. I'm gonna have to go back and probably edit in some bits here and there and do some voiceovers, because it's me and I'm incredibly scatterbrained. But I do think it was beautifully done. It was a fantastic episode, and it was the perfect follow-up as well to last week's episode. I still say last week's episode is probably my favourite of the season. This one was really good, but I don't think anything's going to top episode 4, in my opinion. But it was the perfect follow up. I mean, it was a complete change of pace, change of setting, change of scenery. Everyone was changing gears. Everything. I mean, you're bringing back Gabe. You're bringing Jadis to the forefront of everything, and you have the proposal. Yeah, it felt like a big transition from last week, but it worked. And I can't say, I'll say it every week. I cannot say it enough. I'll say it again. Denai and Andrew deserve to be nominated for any award that there is regarding TV, and that I'm sure that like the fan base is going to be vocal enough about it that some people are going to have to fucking listen. But that being said, like the talent speaks for itself. Do you know what I'm saying? The talent, it speaks volumes for itself. The two of them up on that screen, holy shit, they are magic. They are absolute lightning in a bottle. I love them. But I do think people are going to start finally standing up and taking notice. But yeah, those are some of my thoughts in this week's episode. What did you guys think? Let me know. Let me know down below. And yeah, that's it. I think I've tried to end this video like 4 different times. And each time I just got distracted and kept talking. But that's what happens. That's what happens when there is an impeccable episode of television in front of you. You just can't shut up. But yeah, that is it for this week's chat, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said at the beginning, the link to all of my socials, anywhere you can find me is down below if you want to come find me elsewhere and say hello. As always, I appreciate you tuning in and taking time out of your day to spend with me to talk about our show. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you all soon.